There's been so many iconic performances in horror films, especially by women. There's so many legendary, iconic ones. I immediately think of Sissy Spacek in Carrie, Kathy Bates in Misery, Mia Farrow in Rosemary's Baby. I think of underrated ones that a lot of people don't talk about because maybe you're not movie buffs, like Ehi Sheena in Audition, Alyssa Sutherland in Evil Dead Rise, and I could think of classic, like genre-defying ones like Ellen Burstyn in Exorcist, Jeanette Lee from Psycho. I would argue Natalie Portman in Black Swan, and then more modern ones that people talk about more often, like Toni Collette in Hereditary, which I'm really still upset that never got awarded and was snubbed out of all nominations from the award season because she was absolutely spectacular. And a similar fashion, Lupita Nyong'o in Us, who has such an iconic and dynamic performance that I haven't seen anyone really match. And Naomi Scott in Smile 2, who gave a really underrated performance in a film of that stature. But get ready for another performance to add to that iconic list. What Inde Navarrette does in Obsession is
legend. Wait for it. And I hope you're not lactose intolerant because the second half of that word is dairy.
It might sound like recency bias, it might sound hyperbolic, but she gives one of the most captivating performances in any movie I've seen in ages. One that should be awarded at the Academy, but won't because they ignore small horror films like this. What she's asked to do in this movie is insane, and she pulls it off in spectacular fashion. After breaking the mysterious One Wish Willow to win his crush's heart, a hopeless romantic gets exactly what he asks for. Which lets Inde Navarrette get to play like 5 different characters in one as she becomes totally obsessed with the main character. Her relationship with her friend Bear becomes just kind of a friend zone situation to a full-blown love. And from her dynamic facial expressions to her amazing micro changes in her face that tells a million stories, to the physical performance that not only made me worry about her well-being in real life and safety, but also creeped me out more than most horror movies I've seen in a while. There's 2 monologues that she delivers in this film that are both poetic and terrifying. There's primal screams in this movie that gave me absolute goosebumps.
Nikki?
I still can't believe that half of them came from her body. She's in the vein of Isabella Adjani in Possession, Shelley Duvall in The Shining, Lily Rose Depp in Nosferatu. It's wild, intense, and she totally goes for it. But she's not the only star of the show. Curry Barker, who's directing his first feature, pulls out a great performance out of her. But he also does some of the most inventive lighting techniques that I've seen in a horror film in a long time. With a micro budget, he makes the film feel premium. It's a slow burn that feels like a pressure cooker ready to explode at any moment. Seeing the scene felt like I was bracing for impact. The way he used shadowing and lighting to make scenes feel super eerie and demonic and hide people's faces, so it felt like it was morphing in real time to those person's expressions, was phenomenal. I generally started feeling uncomfortable whenever she entered the scene, wondering what cringe-inducing moment she would create or terrifying look. The movie weaponizes awkwardness better than most horror films weaponize gore. It puts you in a room like a fly on a wall, and I couldn't look away. I started dreading conversations because you know every interaction is one wrong sentence away from disaster. I was holding my breath 1 minute and laughing out loud the next. And the few jump scares that are in the movie are not telegraphed, and they elevate the plot. So many times when I thought it was going to come, it doesn't, and the tension kept building. And when it actually happened, it sent shockwaves through my body, and I could tell it sent shockwaves through the rest of the people in the theater. Many sequences and moments feel like they're bound to become iconic for how funny, cringy, or creepy they are. To give you a hint of the tone of this film, it felt like Sam Raimi was directing Hereditary. Sam's chaotic camera energy and knack for dark comedy mixed with Ari Aster's emotional dread and inevitable tragedy that is unfolding. But despite having elements of those 2 great directors in here, Baker manages to make this film his own and have his own unique look and style. And he doesn't just direct the film with a very assured, confident hands for somebody that's doing their first full feature. He writes one of the best Gen Z horror films that we've gotten ever. Here, he deconstructs the sad boy trope that has been prevalent in films for the last decade. Michael Johnson plays the character Bear, and he does a wonderful job with this character, making you feel sympathetic for a character that is probably a piece of crap when you really look through the lens of the film in rear view. The typical nice guy who believes he's progressive but holds all the old-timey standards that prevent him from seeing his crush, Nikki, as a human but just as a fantasy. He sees her as a Manny Pixie dream girl, but she really becomes a manic pixie demon nightmare for him. The cautionary tale for men that also shows how these cautionary tales become tragedies for women. The film hits on many topics like toxic relationships, timing of relationships, and how unsaid love or feelings can lead to disaster. It feels like 500 Days of Summer meets Talk to Me. The movie has a bunch of side plots that could have been explored and hopefully can get spin off into other films, but it focuses on the main theme here. It drives it home and satisfyingly lands the chaotic plane. Instead of jump scares, the movie fuses dread, tension, and making you know from the beginning that this is not going to end well, but you're not too sure how it's going to end at all. And with somebody like me who watches movies so much, a lot of times I can predict the ending, but I didn't know where the hell this movie was going. It's a nasty, embarrassing tale of cowardly, sad boys who rather dehumanize their crushes than do the actual work to get them. Mixed with a legendary physical performance by Inde and a hell of debut by Curry Barker. If I had one complaint about this film, it would be that the first act felt a bit rushed and could have fleshed out the dynamics between all the characters a bit more. Despite that, this is the type of film that reminds you why the horror genre is so special, and it's saving Hollywood every week. Every month, there's a great horror film or a really decent horror film coming out at all times. And this is on top of the line, probably the best horror film I've seen this year. This movie has been hyped up for like over a year because it came out at festivals last year, and it's rare for a film like this to not only deliver on its hype, but over deliver. With that said, I'm going to give Obsession 4.5 out of 5 stars.